Hey everyone, it's Greg here, and you're probably wondering, what's going on? Why is there a GameCube menu sitting on my screen right now? Well, you probably have already read the title and description of the video down below, but yes, I am revisiting one of my all-time favorite video games, and that is the original Metroid Prime, which came out 20 years ago, if I can believe it, if you can believe it, if any of us can believe it at this time. So, what am I doing with a 20-year-old game? Well, I am definitely not someone who is good at like written, super researched video analysis kind of things. We tried it like fucking 8 years ago with a thing called the discussion thread that I don't even think is on the channel anymore. We tried it. It's not our thing. But what I'm very good at is being ADHD as fuck and having hyperfixations, which is why I'm calling this Hyperfixation Metroid Prime. I can sit and freeball and talk about a game that I love, at least my experiences with it, and why I love it, why I think certain things work and stuff like that. And in all honesty, I am of the opinion that the beginning of Metroid Prime is, I think, one of the bests in like setting up players for being able to properly play a video game. I think it's wonderful and it is fantastic. And I'm also of an opinion, I don't know if it's a majority and minority opinion or whatever, that the tutorial of this game isn't just the Space Pirate Frigate at the very, very beginning, but it also includes exploring Talon Overworld, which then leads into Chozo Ruins. And I think the tutorial proper, and I'm using air quotes with that, I don't have the webcam going so you can't see me do that. I think the tutorial proper, with air quotes, ends after the main boss of Chozo Ruins. So I want to just sit down and talk about this game kind of in a pseudo let's play format, but kind of just talk about why, like, things that I love about this game, and just allow me to sit down and ADHD hyperfixate on something. And I am very excited. I hope you guys like this. This is a very different kind of thing. I hope that it comes out well. I hope that this doesn't become a scrapped video. And I mean, if you are seeing it, then it wasn't. But in any case, let's go ahead and jump on into Metroid Prime. Starting off with just the menu, I fucking love the like initial opening menu music. I love this take on the Metroid theme. It's fucking awesome and fantastic. And I love the kind of like the glitchy like looping of what's going on behind the logo. I don't know, just as a kid I always fucking loved it, so I'm not gonna waste any time. I could sit and go through all the like little demos and stuff and talk about all the cool interesting things that they show off. I already got one save game right here, but we're gonna start a brand new game here. We're gonna go ahead and start right now, and it's going to loop us around and send us into the beginning of the game. Unidentified distress beacon has been tracked to a derelict space vessel in the orbit of Talon 4. You know, as a kid, I always, before I really fully understood Roman numerals, like I'd been taught Roman numerals at that point, even though I was like 8 when this game came out, and it was about like 8 or 9 when I finally got the game. I want to say I was like 8 when I got this game. I think it was around 2002. I've had this game, I've sat with this game for like, it feels like it's been 20 years, but it's one of those things where like I would always say Talon IV until fully realizing, oh, it's 4 because Roman numerals and shit like that. Another fun fact actually about this at the beginning as well is there's actually something that was cut in this intro sequence, and I think Editing Greg can fact check this part of it. It's possible that it's in the European version. I don't remember, but there was like a voiceover that was used, at least for like the text bits that were shown. And I want to say there was also some like cut stuff in relation to like Samus was apparently supposed to have narration possibly at some point. Again, this is all off the top of my head, and I don't remember horribly well. I would actually strongly recommend going to the Unseen 64 article about the creation of this game, because that's a massive, massive article, and it is you could waste so much time learning about the making of the game and all the stuff that got changed and whatnot, and then check out the cutting room floor for all the stuff that was cut and stuff like that. But that's enough of me talking right now. That's Samus jumping out of the ship, getting you ready for the Space Pirate Frigate. Things are going to go a little bit quick, and I'm just going to kind of hyperfixate on some stuff that I very much enjoy. I'm still shocked after all this time as to how decent this game actually looks, all things considered. So you got your tutorial. Oh, that's right. It's inverted. I gotta change the settings on that. Let's see. Controller. Inverted. I'm about to invert the y-axis. There we go. The inverted y-axis makes it actually correct. So it's really cool right here. Very simple thing that sets you up for a big mechanic in the game. Using the scan visor is using it to activate the shooting points in front of you. And then you're like, oh, hey, look, there's a thing here. Let's scan this. What does this do? Force field blocks the entrance. Something nearby must be able to deactivate it. All right, so go to hit that. I totally haven't played this a bunch of times. One of the things that I love as well with this game is you'll notice it right now. There's no music playing right now. It's all sound effects and stuff like that. Use a beam to open doors. Once doors shot, it's just kind of letting you know. I love the little frost effects on this as well. But I love that the music doesn't kick in right away. It's one of the things about the sound design and music choices in this game that I just fucking love with a passion. Airlock has been... You can scan the door right here. It says interest. It's just basically telling you what the interest the next area is. Where was I even at the first place? Yeah, this is definitely hyperfixation, all right. But the little like effects here, and then that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the lack of music right now. That like it's just allowing you to stay isolated, right? And it's not until you enter this room right here. So notice these little guys right here. You want to scan these little guys, and you get creature data, and it does really good because it's already showing you how to scan, other things, and it showed that you can like scan doors and stuff like that. Now, of course, I already know how to do this, but I've always loved it. Even when I was a kid, I was an idiot kid. I was like, oh, what are these things? I'm going to scan it. I will also readily admit that as an idiot kid, I also had the strategy guide that definitely helped me out at times. But as I've grown older and have both used and not used the strategy guide when playing this game, I think it was a Brady game strategy guide. I still have that fucker. It's all beat to shit. You could tell I've used it so many times. But it's one of those things where it's still like it's really good at showing you, all right, you want to scan this, scan the door, you can scan this, and like, ooh, what's this little thing? You can scan it here. Parasite, just kind of explaining what it is, and it'll always be in your logbook. In here, something you can do is you can get really interesting and admittedly fucked up lore about what's going on here. Morphology, space pirate status, death caused by severing of the spinal cord. You have morphology unknown, info, high levels of radiation detected. There's something over here. Analysis shows incredibly large muscle structures surrounding the jaw area. Yeah, we've got all this interesting stuff here. Escape pod entrance. The vessel has already been jettisoned. Evacuation occurred 6 hours prior to your arrival. I love that it even has like little bits of information even like that hard. So there's the parasites. You can lock onto those and kill those or just let those do whatever. What happened to this guy right here? Morphology, space pirate status, death caused by acidic burns to body, chemical type unknown. And the cool thing about scanning these guys is, and seeing this creature right here is it's going to be foreshadowing for later on in this section. You see this guy sitting right here. You can scan him here. Species, space pirate status, weak signs of life detected. Motionless and white signs of life detected. Beetle and I are working on the favorite records of 2022, and I've had Scoring the End of the World on repeat since it came out in June. I think it was June when it came out. I don't remember. See, this says Escape Pod 347 launched. Escape Pod launch coordinates, Talon 4. Alrighty. Use your charge beam. This is just kind of some more Just general tutorial. Morphology: Space Pirate. Status: death caused by excessive blunt force trauma, or blunt trauma to cranium. This is a really cool little bit right here. You see these little guys walk through here, and it's like, hey, there's a little thing in there, and you're like, okay, interesting enough. You're like, well, how do I get in here? What do I do? You start fucking around with buttons. Oh, I fired a missile. That's how I jump. Oh, I'm a little ball now. This is your morph ball. Allows you some trial and error. Step into the hologram to download the map. I'm going to scan the map right now. You can always scan all these little bits and pieces right here. As you could tell, I mentioned it before, but once we walked into the prior room where we were scanning where all the dead space pirates and whatnot, you heard all the music set in, and it was, I don't know, I love that it just waits to give you the music immediately, but when it does, it's very kind of eerie, at least in the way that I feel and perceive it. Something interesting about the morph ball that you'll notice later on is notice how the middle of the morph ball is blue. Something that to pay attention to for something that happens later on here. Alright, so we're in an elevator. We're going to scan this. I'm going to spin us around. And then just step through here, step through the hologram, and we're just kind of chilling and vibing and exploring the Space Pirate Frigate. So, hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. So you see there's electricity here, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna scroll on under it. We already used the morph ball to get the map, so then we just kind of go around and do what we gotta do. It's got some weak looking space pirates. This is something that I actually very much loved. So this space pirate status, severe internal damage detected. We gotta kill these guys right here. This guy's going to try to fire at you. Not today. All that fun shit. So let's see. What do we got scanned right here? After mutation, the carapace of the larva becomes rigid. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The carapace is quite resilient and able to resist attacks from many predators. This is another hint for something coming up later. So do keep that in mind as well. Fire missiles using Y. Because this fucker is going to try and get you. So I'm going to scan him. Something that you learn very quick in this game is to scan. So these turrets can fuck up your day, especially when you've got... of course, it doesn't do as much damage right now because it's tutorial. You don't even have an energy tank. Something you learn later on. So I got some pirate data. It's just kind of like a pirate log, space pirate log and whatnot. Zebus has fallen. All ground personnel are presumed dead, either killed by the hunter clad in metal or the subsequent destruction of the underground facilities. Our research frigates Orpheon, Siriasis, and Vol Paragom. I'm just horrible pronunciations. We're in orbit at 0 hour and managed to retreat. Frigate Orpheon is now docked at Vortex Outpost. Orpheon's cargo appeared to have a 100% survival rate. Metroids are healthy, but on restricted feeding schedules due to uncertain supply status. We are ready to begin research on the Metroids and other promising life forms. Security status remains at Code Blue. No signs of pursuit from the hunter. Basically talking about the end of... let's see, Zebus was that the original game or Super Metroid? I think that was Super No, Zebus was the original game. I think SR388 was Super Metroid. Some Metroid fan will go ahead and correct me in the comments down below. I'm also doing all this off the top of my head, and usually I have my phone on me, but I'm recording right now, so there is that. So you can scan all these things. I'm not going to bore you guys by scanning everything, but I'm kind of a completion boy that loves to scan these things. I'll just kind of scan them for the sake of not wanting to forget anything at all. So that's just analysis right there. Basically, they're keeping a bunch of creatures in here. Something that you do learn as the game goes on, and it'll tell you, this is kind of one of the things that happens later on in the game, is that there's a scan percentage in this game, and you can unlock like stuff thanks to the scan percentage and whatnot. And there's a couple things on the Space Pirate Frigate that that if you do not scan them on the frigate, you basically cannot get 100% and unlock everything. Why is this fucker so hard to kill? He's never that fucking hard. I'm at 50 health already. 60, excuse me. Fucker's really hard to kill for some reason. You hear the sound right there. Again, sound design in this game is wonderful. Even like sound design of the turrets, you hear them activate, and that's your warning that, hey, shit's about to get real wild really quick. We'll talk about sound design more when we get down into Talon 4, but it's definitely something that I very much love and I very much enjoy. It really is kind of crazy thinking about... Ooh, there's this fucker right here. Morphology Space Pirate. Minimal injuries. Maximum firepower recommended. Let's just strafe back and forth. Take care of this fucker over here. Alright. This device does not seem to be functional. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's functional. Looks like a spherical... Man, if I could read properly. Looks like a spherical shape would fit into this clamp. And you got a door right there. Hey, look. Spherical object. You am become spherical object. And then the game decides to punk you right here. And just be like, hey, 2 turrets now instead of 1. Something that's crazy later on in the game. And maybe if I decide to do more of a game... Oh, that happened really quickly. But basically it was just telling you that you can hold your charge beam in order to have objects float over to you. Oh, hey, look. This is a very important thing you need. It's called a save station. So I'm going to save our game right now. And I'm going to take a quick second. But it's going to be just a matter of seconds, like right now. And we're back. So we got another spherical object that we're going to be doing. So talking about how this is one of the best tutorials in a video game. This is really good at also like easing you in. You noticed it earlier when we were dealing with the Space Pirates that we went from Space Pirates that were in very critical condition, that were stuck on the floor, that maybe can fire off a couple shots, to Space Pirates that were basically minimal damage observed, and to be on your guard as best as you know take care of yourself as best as possible. Another thing that this game's really good at is, once again, the sound design. As you could hear now, there's no music right now. This game has always been fantastic at choosing when to and when not to have music, and builds and music as well. The building and music especially is going to be something that I'm very much excited to show off when we get to Chozo Ruins. But yeah, this game's really good at like scaling you, like slowly easing you into the pace of the game. I'm kind of explaining things right now, so Samus is kind of just fucking around and finding out. But it's one of those things where I love how, like I said, it starts off with Space Pirates that are like confined to the floor, barely alive, and each Space Pirate, like you had the one stumbling up, and then you had one that seemed relatively fine, and then one that was, kicking my ass earlier, and then all the other Space Pirates were at basically full capacity at that point, even though we can't scan them quite yet, but we'll be able to scan them eventually. I love the little idle animations when you're just standing there. So I love how eerie the cutting out of the music is, and it preps you for this reveal right here. Remember I said paying attention and getting information from earlier scans is a setup for something later on in the Space Pirate Frigate. And lo and behold, it is the Parasite Queen right here. Very tough, strong hide. It's a creature that we saw earlier. And also, if this game has you scanning some creatures and some items, this is one of those things that if you do not scan this here, you cannot 100% your logbook. This is the space, the Parasite Queen. I've played this game so many times, so this is a sign that we're at the start of the second half. Parasite Queen very much is, we're in like the last fourth. Ooh. Come on, give us a good setup. There we go. There we go. That was a quick fight. Awesome. I, wanted to focus and make sure. So this is your first kind of boss, and, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a very easy boss to learn that each boss is going to have their own kind of little things that are, little quirks as to how they function and whatnot. And, oh, hey, tell me if you've ever seen this in a Metroid game before. You got to escape from a ship that's exploding. Yeah, this is pretty great. For those who do not know, this is a staple of every Metroid game. Every Metroid game has had this in some way, shape, or form. That you have to escape has kind of become the trope of these games. But it's all good. We've got 7 minutes. I'm willing to bet we don't even need all 7 of those minutes. So, little cool thing here. So this disabled the turrets. You won't pick up on this the first time. Usually when you first play this game for the first time, they're fighting a creature right there and they all get blown up. But the first time you ever play this game, you don't ever notice that. And it's really interesting, like in subsequent playthroughs, you kind of pick up on other things and you see that, because it's basically the same logo of the elevators that you've scanned already up to this point. Now we're going through a bunch of little tubes and stuff like that. Now we've got, oh great, some parasites. There's those parasites from earlier. Fun fact, they do not do any damage. They just cloud up your vision. One of these doors that you got to open up right here. We're just going to be escaping for a little bit, so maybe we montage, maybe we stay with me. If I have anything extra. Oh shit, I just realized I'm out of missiles. I don't think I'm going to need any missiles, but I just realized I am completely out of missiles. I really did drain all of my missiles during that boss fight. I don't think I've ever done that before. Of course, that happens when I'm doing a video about this tutorial. You think that would actually hurt you, but it actually doesn't. So one of the things that I love the most about the very start of this game, like I said, I talked about the scaling. It gives you a boss fight and then gives you an escape. So it kind of truncates. To make this part a little harder since I don't have any missiles. But it kind of truncates a Metroid experience all in one go. And it's slightly different than if you're familiar with Super Metroid, where you basically wander into an abandoned ship, and then once you are in that ship, you fight Ridley, attempt to, but then you have to leave. And it's, you kind of go in, get your ass kicked a little bit, and then go out. This, you kind of get to kick ass a little bit, and it really is kind of a good beginning introduction. I'm going to put a pin in what just happened here for something else, but it's a good introduction as to what the general flow of the game is going to be. You've got, things you got to scan to solve any sort of puzzles, and you'll get to more puzzle solving later on. But you got to scan things to figure things out. You got to shoot things to see if they work properly. And we're about to get a view of one of the most iconic Metroid villains, Ridley, right there. There's your boy, just chilling right there. There's Ridley for Smash. And it's a fun little introduction. You'll get to see him at a variety of points throughout the game. He's a fan favorite for all Metroid fans. But that is your introduction to Ridley in Metroid Prime. So we're using a grapple beam right here. I love how they use the grapple beam in this game. Something cool that I said I was going to put a pin in. Here's another one of those. You scan them and the turret doesn't go down. It's another thing you definitely wouldn't realize at the beginning. But the thing I was going to put a pin in, I'm just going to pause for a moment, was when you walked into that one tunnel that had the heated piston shoot in front of you. It actually pushes you back, and there's a slight vibration in the controller. And I've always fucking loved that. It's really fucking cool. So now we're gonna get to another quintessential thing found in every Metroid game, and that is something's about to happen to Samus. There's an explosion. She's thrown to the back. And look at that. Something weird has happened. Uh-oh. Various suit malfunction. Morph ball malfunction. Missile malfunction. Charge beam malfunction. Grapple beam malfunction. Another quintessential thing in the Metroid franchise is Samus losing her shit at some point at the beginning of the game, or just starting with nothing. Where the fuck did I go? Okay, right there. It's... Damn, I am definitely out of it. So, you can't go back through here because it's all on fire, so we got to go back the other direction. The room is depressurizing, so we're going to wait here for a moment. Now, we're getting to another really cool thing in this game, something that I really fucking love. It is, you just got to go through, I think, one more door here. Yeah, it's just one more door here, and we're going to, like, sit here for a moment. We're not going to trigger the cutscene just yet. But you cross the threshold of the door, and it is dead silent. You don't notice it if you just run immediately through, because if I run back in here, it triggers the sound again. So, normally, you would finish this and you run out through here, and it cuts off momentarily, and then this cutscene will begin. But I think when just fucking around at one point, you'll kind of get to learn this as you play the game as a whole, and we'll get into stuff like this, why you do things like this, in the next video when we go into Talon Overworld. But it really is just Samus is chasing Ridley, by the way. You really get to kind of, like, if you explore, you notice things you never did before, and just the, like, cutting off of all the sound effects is really cool. But yeah, so that's the Space Pirate Frigate. It's really like it legitimately is the tutorial, the introduction to the game. It's got everything. It's got fighting space pirates. It's got boss battle. It's got escaping from the ship. It's got Samus losing things. Things that are staple, that were some things that were like staples in the franchise already. And things that would become staples in the franchise as well. So it's a nice little introduction. Like, as I mentioned earlier, it's really good at the scaling, starting you slow and quickening the pace, with each new thing that you encounter, getting to that very fast pace, like running from the ship and trying to, get to safety as quickly as possible. And I think it's effective. It's really good. It teaches you simple game mechanics, some things to look forward to since you lose a majority of your stuff. But you're now back to square one. It's just you, your general power suit, and your beam. And that's actually where we're going to wrap it up right now. Now, most people... I'm going to pause it right here to kind of give a little bit of an outro for this. So, most people would generally... consider that to be the end of the tutorial, and now you're in the game proper. Which, yes, it technically is correct. The Space Pirate Frigate is its own thing, separate from the rest of the game, because we're now going to be spending the rest of this game in Talon 4 and throughout the world of Talon 4. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I personally think that the tutorial continues from here. Because now we have a tutorial as to how the rest of the game handles and how the rest of the game functions. Because there's going to be some new things to check out and some new things to look at. Which is stuff that I am very excited to share with you guys and to kind of further explain what I love and why I love this game so much and why I think these first couple hours really hook you in the best way possible. So that's it. I'm Greg. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this first video. Please do take care of yourselves. Hope you guys have a safe Thanksgiving. We will be off next Sunday, but the Sunday after that will be episode 50 of the Homebrewers. I can't believe we're already almost to episode 50, and then after that we'll be back to some Metroid Prime, and I am very excited to share more Metroid Prime. So looking to wrap up the end of the year as far as non-Homebrewers videos with Metroid Prime. So I think this will be a 3-part kind of little hyper focus, the introduction to Metroid Prime, and conversation is going to be all over the fucking place. I'm just going to be kind of ADHD explaining shit, but with that being said, thank you guys so much. Please take care. As I said, have yourself a very safe Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that for more Homebrewers.